not my people. And at that time, he didn't know it was his people, but he was enraged. That spirit in him it got angry. And he took a rock and he beat this soldier until he died, knowing that what he did would arouse the king's attention. He knew that it meant death. Moses now has to flee. So we're going from being adopted, from being put on the Nile, to being adopted into royalty, okay? To now becoming a fugitive. But it was necessary. It was necessary. And at this time, Moses didn't know the plans that God had for him or what would be required of him. Just like many of us, when we're going through our trials or when we're walking through life, even when it's not even a trial and life is good and we're living life, we never know tomorrow. We don't know what it is that God is planning for us. We don't know. But see, children of God, and that's why it's so important to know the world and to be grounded in the word, because you know that at the end of the day, the Bible says you don't know the plans of tomorrow, but you need to trust and believe that God holds your tomorrow. For as long as you believe and have faith that God holds your tomorrow, know that at the end of the day, it's going to be good. He said, the plans that I have for you are to prosper you. All of his plans that he has for us are good and they are wholesome. It's the things that we do that take us away from the wholesomeness and for those riches and glories and for all of the things that he has promised us, those treasures, all of those things. He said that we are, as his children, we shall not walk poor. How can we walk poor when we are children of a king? But the things that we do separate us from the goodness of God. So when things are not going your way, it's time for you to kind of do a check, a self-check. What am I doing wrong? How come I'm not receiving these blessings? Why is it so hard for me? How come I just cannot receive the abundance of everything that he said in his word? But this word right here, nothing in here is a lie. Every promise is the truth. He is the truth. So now here is Moses. And here is Moses wandering around the desert. So you went from a palace to being homeless. I'm not talking about living in your car homeless. I'm talking about living in the wilderness homeless. From a prince to being homeless. But it was necessary. It was necessary because God was orchestrating his steps. God was orchestrating his steps. God was putting things in place. He was cooking something up. You know what I'm saying? God is always cooking up something. He's always doing something. There's always a shift. There's always something that comes after this step. There's always something that comes after this trial. There's always something that comes after this tribulation. There's always something that comes after that heartache. There's always a rainbow after the rain. You just got to wait on it. So here he is. He's walking through the desert. He doesn't know what his next move is going to be. And then he comes to a place called Midian. And in this place, you see, when God is ordering your steps or when God is taking you somewhere, you're going to find favor. He will always make provision for you. He will always make provision for you. We're never lost and we're never alone. We may think we're lost, but we are never alone. God is always with us. You know what I'm saying? He's always with us. So now here he is, and he enters into Midian. And he meets this beautiful woman, and he asks for water. And he's given that water. And for some reason, he finds favor, especially with the woman in Midian. He finds favor.